Hey warriors! There is an old story about a man who spent years trying to push a boulder up a hill. Every day he put his shoulder against the stone. Every day he strained, sweated, pushed with everything he had. And every day the boulder barely moved an inch before rolling back to where it started. One morning, exhausted, he sat down next to the boulder instead of pushing it. And for the first time, he noticed something he had missed every single day before. A few feet to the left, there was a path, worn smooth by water, winding gently around the hill instead of straight up it. It had been there the whole time. He had been so focused on forcing his way through the hardest possible route that he never looked sideways long enough to see the easier one already waiting for him. This is not a story about laziness. The man was not wrong to want to get up that hill. He was wrong about how convinced he was that the only way up was straight through the hardest part by his own strength alone. You might be standing in front of your own boulder this morning, something you have been pushing against for so long that you forgot to look sideways. A relationship, a decision, a dream, a fear, something you have been straining against with everything you have, certain that strength alone has to be the answer. Maybe it does not have to be. Maybe there is a path you have not noticed yet, simply because you have been staring too hard at the boulder. This morning is not about pushing harder. It is about sitting down for a moment, the way that man did, and finally looking sideways. 6 lessons are waiting for you. Each one is a way of seeing what you have been missing while you were busy pushing. Sit down for a moment, let your shoulder come off the stone, and comments this below. I stop pushing. I start seeing. Lesson 1. Forcing is fear in disguise. Every time you force something, ask yourself what you are actually scared of. Most people think forcing means strength, pushing harder, trying more, never letting go. But forcing usually comes from somewhere quieter than strength. It comes from fear. Fear that if you stop pushing, everything falls apart. Fear that if you let go, you lose it for good. That fear tells you control equals safety. That if you grip tight enough, bad things cannot happen. But be honest with yourself. How many times has gripping tighter actually changed anything? Usually forcing just slows things down more. It creates friction that did not need to be there. It tires you out while changing nothing about the timing. Think about your own life. The job you pushed so hard for that never came, and a better one showed up later, right after you stopped chasing. The relationship you tried to force, when stepping back, is what finally let the right person in. The plan you held on to so tight, you missed the easier path sitting right next to you. Control was never fully yours to hold. You can work hard. You can show up every day. You can do everything within your power. But the timing, the outcome, the way things finally come together, that belongs to something bigger than your grip. Lao Tzu said it well. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Watch how a seed grows. Nobody forces it open faster. Nobody pulls at the stem to speed things up. It opens on its own time, in its own way, and becomes exactly what it was always going to become. You are no different. Your timing is not behind. It is not late. It is simply yours. When you force something, a relationship that is not ready, a job that is not yours yet, an answer that has not come, you are fighting timing you cannot even see. And that fight wears you down. It steals the peace right out of your day. The tiredness from forcing feels different than the tiredness from real work. Real effort, lined up with the right timing, leaves you tired but satisfied. Forcing leaves you tired and empty, drained with nothing to show for it. Learn to notice that difference in your own life. Let it go today. Not the goal, not the dream, just the grip. You can want something deeply and still loosen your hold on exactly how and when it shows up. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Picture holding sand in an open hand. As long as your hand stays open, the sand stays. The moment you squeeze your fist tight to keep it from slipping, it pours out faster than if you had just kept your hand open and still. That is what forcing does. The tighter you grip, the faster things slip. The more you try to control, the messier it gets. But an open hand, held steady, often keeps more than a closed fist ever could. Try this today. Whatever you have been gripping the longest, open your hand around it, not to drop what matters to you, just to hold it the way it was meant to be held, gently, with trust instead of fear. And the storms come for everyone, eventually. The question is whether you have built up something steady inside you before they arrive. Whether you have practiced opening your hands enough times that doing it during a real storm does not feel impossible. That practice starts on ordinary mornings like this one, not during the crisis, before it. So, when the harder moments come, you already know how to release instead of grip even tighter. Most people only learn this lesson after years of exhausting themselves the hard way. They force and force and force, until one day their body or their mind simply will not let them keep going. That breaking point becomes the teacher, when a gentler lesson, learned earlier and on purpose, could have taught the same thing without the crash. You do not have to wait for a breaking point. You can choose to learn this now, on an ordinary Tuesday morning, simply because you are willing to listen. Say this out loud right now and let your spirit hear it. My timing is not late. Lesson 2. Surrender is not the same as giving up. There is a difference between surrendering and quitting. Most people mix them up, and that mix-up keeps them stuck. Quitting says, I do not believe this will work, so I am done. Surrender says, I have done everything I can, and now I trust what comes next. Quitting comes from giving up hope. Surrender comes from faith. This morning, think about something you have been holding on to so tightly your hands ache. Ask yourself honestly, am I still doing the work toward this, or am I just gripping it out of fear that letting go means losing it forever? If you are still showing up, preparing, growing, that is not forcing. That is faithful effort. But if all you are doing is worrying, gripping, controlling every detail because you do not trust the outcome without your hand on it, that is forcing, and it is wearing you out for nothing. Faithful effort feels like movement. You are doing something that actually moves you forward. Forcing feels like spinning in place, replaying conversations in your head, imagining scenarios that have not even happened, trying to control things that are not even real yet. That mental gripping drains you just as much as physical forcing does. Maybe more, because it happens quietly, where nobody else can see how hard you are working at something that is not actually moving. You probably know exactly what this feels like. Lying awake at 2 in the morning, running through the same worry for the 10th time, as if thinking about it hard enough will somehow change what happens tomorrow. It will not. It never has. All that gripping does is steal your sleep and add nothing useful to the outcome. Rumi wrote, "Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. You were never meant to carry every outcome on your own. You were meant to do your part and trust the rest to something wiser than your worry." Here is what surrender actually looks like. You prepare for the interview, then let go of needing the answer before it comes. You plant the seed, then stop digging it up every day to check if it grew. You say the prayer, do the work, take the step, and then open your hands around the outcome. That opening is where peace lives, not in controlling everything, in trusting enough to let go. This will not click for you all at once. You will catch yourself gripping again tomorrow and the day after. That is fine. The goal is not perfection. The goal is noticing a little faster each time and opening your hands a little sooner than the time before. That slow loosening, practiced morning after morning, becomes a different way of living. Less anxious, less tired, more trusting, one small release at a time. Think of someone you know who seems to handle uncertainty with grace. They were not born that way, they built it. Through their own hard seasons of learning when to hold on and when to let go. You can build that same grace, starting with whatever you are gripping today. Start small if that helps. You do not have to release everything today. Pick one thing, just one. Loosen your hold on that single thing today and let the practice grow from there. The same way every other skill in your life has grown, slowly, with repetition, getting easier each time you return to it. Speak this with your whole heart this morning. I surrender with faith, not fear. Lesson 3. Closed doors are still answers. You have prayed for an open door. But have you thought about a closed one being an answer too? Most people only see guidance when it looks like a yes, a job offer, a green light, a clear path. But guidance often shows up as a no, a delay, a door that will not budge no matter how hard you push. That closed door is not punishment. It might be protection. Think about doors that closed in your past that crushed you at the time. The relationship that ended, the job you did not get, the plan that fell apart right when it felt certain. At the time, those closures probably felt like rejection. Looking back now, can you see how some of them actually saved you, pointed you somewhere better, kept you off a road that would have cost you more than you knew? Most people, if they look back honestly, can find at least one closed door that turned out to be exactly what they needed. Not what they wanted in the moment. What they needed for the bigger picture they could not see yet. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The obstacle itself often becomes the thing that turns you toward where you were actually meant to go. This is hard to believe while the door is closing right in front of you. It does not feel like protection in that moment. It feels like loss, like failure. Those feelings are real, and you are allowed to feel them, even while trusting that something good might come later. You can grieve a closed door and still trust the bigger picture, both at the same time. This morning, think about a door in your life that will not open no matter how hard you push. Maybe it is time to stop pushing. Maybe that closed door is not your failure. Maybe it is direction. Trust that whatever is meant for you will not require you to break a door down to get it. The right doors open when the timing is right. Your job is not to force them open. Your job is to keep walking and stay ready for the one that will. And remember, a door staying closed does not always mean forever. It might reopen later when the timing is right, or it might stay shut because something better is waiting somewhere else. Either way, today, your job is the same. Keep moving. Stay ready. Try not to let one closed door make you bitter. Bitterness closes you off from the next good thing just as surely as the original door closed. Keep your heart soft, even after a door slams. Softness keeps you ready for what is coming next. This takes real practice. When a door slams shut, your first instinct is rarely softness. It is usually anger or grief, or the urge to ask why this had to happen to you specifically. Those feelings are not wrong. Feel them fully. Just do not let them harden into permanent walls that block out the next door when it finally comes. There is a particular kind of person who seems to handle disappointment without becoming hard. You probably know someone like this. They get knocked down. They feel it fully. They grieve what was lost. And then they get back up without carrying years of bitterness from it. That is not because they feel less pain. It is because they decided early on that pain would not be allowed to calcify into permanent resentment. You can decide the same thing. Today, with whatever closed door is on your mind, has a closed door ever turned out to be a blessing later? Tell me about it below. Lesson 4. Your peace is a form of trust. Nobody tells you this, but peace itself is a kind of faith. When you are anxious about everything, trying to control every detail, worrying about things you cannot influence, you are telling life or God or whatever you believe runs this whole thing that you do not trust the plan. When you are at peace, really at peace, even while things are still uncertain, you are saying something powerful. I trust this is working out, even though I cannot see how yet. That kind of peace is rare. Most people only feel peaceful after the answer arrives, after the uncertainty clears up. But that is backward. Real peace shows up before the answer. It is what lets you keep functioning, keep showing up, keep moving forward while the outcome is still unknown. Buddha taught, Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Your peace was never meant to depend on everything lining up perfectly. It was meant to come from somewhere deeper, from trust, from the quiet decision that no matter what happens, you will be okay. Think about how much of your daily worry comes from trying to control things that have not happened yet. The conversation you are dreading, the result you are waiting on, the decision someone else has not made yet that you are trying to control through sheer worry. None of that worry changes the outcome. It only changes how you feel while you wait. And usually it makes the waiting worse, not better. This morning, check where your peace is actually sitting. Is it sitting in your circumstances, meaning it disappears the second something goes wrong? Or is it sitting somewhere deeper, meaning it holds steady no matter what shifts around you? Move your peace to that deeper place today. Let it live in your trust, not your timeline. This is not something you fix once and never deal with again. Some days will test your peace harder than others. The goal is not staying calm forever without a single wobble. The goal is how fast you come back to center after you get knocked off. That return gets faster the more you practice it. The first time something throws you off, it might take all day to settle. With practice, it might take an hour, then a few minutes. You are training something here. Be patient with how long it takes. Think about how a parent comforts a crying child. They do not panic just because the child is upset. They stay steady, and that steadiness helps the child settle faster. You can be that steady presence for yourself. The part of you that does not panic just because another part of you is upset for a moment. This takes time to build, the same way any new skill does. You will not be perfect at it tomorrow, but you can be a little better at it than you were yesterday. That is the whole goal. Not mastery overnight. Progress, morning by morning. Declare this over your morning before you take another step. My peace does not depend on my circumstances. Lesson 5. Some things grow best in the dark. You want clarity right now. You want to see the whole map before taking the next step. But some of the most important things in your life are growing in places you cannot see yet. A seed does not grow in the light. It grows underground, in dark soil, before it ever breaks the surface. Dig it up early to check on it, and you destroy it before it gets the chance to become anything. Some seasons of life work the same way. Quiet, hidden, confusing. Seasons where it feels like nothing is happening, when really something is forming under the surface you cannot see. Patience in those seasons is not wasted time. It is exactly what growth requires. Think about the most uncertain seasons of your own life. The years between finishing school and finding your footing. The quiet stretch after a loss before you felt like yourself again. The waiting period where you were not sure what came next. Those seasons probably did not feel meaningful while you were in them. They probably felt slow and pointless. But something was happening that you could not see at the time. Some strength was building that you would later use without even knowing where it came from. Khalil Gibran wrote, "Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls." The waiting season you are in right now, the one that feels confusing and slow, might be exactly where the next version of you is being built, not despite the darkness. Because of it, stop digging up what is still growing. Stop demanding answers before the season is ready to give them. Trust the process happening under the surface, even when you cannot see a single sign of it. This is hard because it asks you to trust without proof, to believe something is happening even when nothing looks like it is. That kind of faith takes practice. It comes from learning through experience that growth often looks like nothing from the outside. Your breakthrough is not late. It is being prepared in the dark, the same way every good thing has always been prepared. Think about the things in nature that need darkness to grow properly. A photo develops in a dark room, away from light, before the image shows up. A baby grows in the womb, hidden from view, before being ready for the world. Even sleep, the thing your body needs every night to repair itself, happens in darkness. Darkness is not the opposite of growth. For a lot of important things, it is the exact condition growth requires. You are not being punished by the dark season you are in. You are being prepared by it. If you are in one of those seasons right now, this might be the hardest lesson to actually believe. It is easy to nod along when things are going well. It is much harder when you are the one sitting in the dark, wondering if anything is happening at all. Be gentle with yourself in that waiting. You do not have to feel certain about the growth to keep trusting it is there. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet went through seasons exactly like the one you might be in right now. They did not feel strong while they were in it. They felt lost, confused, sometimes afraid that nothing would ever change, but something was happening underneath all of that, even though they could not see it at the time. And on the other side of that season, they found a strength they did not have before. You might be in that same kind of season right now, building something you cannot see yet. Trust that the building is real, even without proof. Lesson 6. Do your part, then let go of the rest. This is the lesson that ties everything together. Letting go does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean sitting back and waiting for life to hand you everything without effort. Letting go means releasing your grip on how and when things happen while still doing the work that is actually yours to do. You still show up, you still prepare, you still take the next step in front of you, but you stop trying to control exactly how it all turns out. Most people miss this balance. They think trusting means doing nothing and waiting around, or they think effort means controlling every detail with their own two hands. Neither one works. The real practice is showing up fully and then opening your hands, giving everything you have to your part and trusting the rest to unfold the way it is supposed to. St. Francis of Assisi is often quoted saying, "Start by doing what is necessary, then what is possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible." Do what is necessary today, the next step, the next conversation, the next small act of faith. Then let go of the outcome. Let it become whatever it is going to become. This sounds simple to say. It is harder to live. It means giving everything to something while also not needing it to turn out one specific way. That is an uncomfortable place to sit. Most people solve the discomfort by leaning too far one way or the other, either giving up or gripping so tight they choke the very thing they are trying to grow. The middle path, full effort, full release, is where the real growth happens. It takes practice. It takes coming back to it again and again, especially on the days fear tells you to grip tighter instead. This morning, walk into your day with open hands instead of clenched fists. Work hard. Show up fully. Then trust completely. That mix, full effort and full surrender, is where real peace lives. Not picking one over the other, holding both at the same time. Think of someone sailing a boat. They cannot control the wind. They cannot decide which way it blows or how strong it gets. But they are not passive either. They work the sails. They adjust the rudder. They respond to what the wind gives them with skill, making the most of conditions they did not choose and cannot control. That is the posture you are being invited into this morning. Not control over the wind. Skill in responding to it. Full presence with what is in front of you, paired with trust in the forces moving around you that are simply bigger than you. Show up today. Do your part. Let go of the rest. Tomorrow will bring its own work and its own trust when it gets here. This rhythm, show up, do your part, let go, repeat, is not complicated. It is just unfamiliar to a mind that has spent years believing control was the only path to safety. You are unlearning that belief, one morning at a time. This is one of those mornings. Picture what it would feel like to actually live this way every day, showing up fully for your work, your relationships, your goals, and then releasing your grip on how they unfold. No more lying awake, running through scenarios you cannot control. No more wearing yourself out trying to manage outcomes that were never yours to manage. That kind of life is available to you. Not perfectly, not overnight, but really available, built through the same small daily choices we have been talking about all morning. Picture what your evenings would feel like if your days were built this way. Instead of arriving home exhausted from gripping everything tightly all day, you arrive tired in a good way, the tired that comes from real effort, not the hollow tired that comes from fighting timing you could never control anyway. That difference in how your evenings feel is one of the clearest signs that you are living this lesson well. Pay attention to it. Let it guide you back to this practice whenever you drift from it. Your part in all of this. Let us be clear about something before we go further this morning. Trusting a bigger plan does not mean you sit back and do nothing. It does not mean waiting for things to land in your lap while you put in no effort to meet them halfway. That is not faith. That is just avoiding responsibility and calling it spiritual. There is a difference between letting go of the outcome and letting go of the work. You are still called to show up, to prepare, to take the steps that are actually yours to take. Faith does not replace effort. It walks beside it. Picture rowing a boat across a river that has a current. You cannot control the current. You cannot force the water to move how you want. But you can still row. You can still steer. You can do everything within your power while trusting the current to carry you where you need to go, even if it is not in a straight line. That is the posture this whole message has been pointing you toward. Not stillness instead of effort. Stillness next to effort. Trust that holds hands with action instead of replacing it. So this morning, as you think about loosening your grip on what you cannot control, also ask yourself honestly, what is mine to do today? What step is actually in my power that I might have been avoiding because the bigger picture feels too uncertain? Do that step. Whatever it is, small or large, do it fully and then let go of the rest. This is the rhythm of a faithful life. Show up. Do your part. Let go. Repeat. Every day, in every situation, large and small. It sounds simple because it is simple. It is just unfamiliar to a mind that has spent years believing control was the only path to safety. You are unlearning that belief one morning at a time. This is one of those mornings. If trusting feels hard today, maybe everything we just talked about sounds good in theory, but in your real life right now, trusting feels almost impossible. That is honest, and it is okay. Maybe you trusted before and got hurt. Maybe you opened your hands once and lost something that mattered, and now part of you fights against doing that again. Maybe letting go does not feel peaceful to you. It feels dangerous because the last time you let go, things did not turn out the way you hoped. If that is where you are this morning, you do not need to force yourself into instant trust. Trust that has been hurt needs time to heal, same as anything else that gets hurt. You would not expect a broken bone to carry full weight right away. Do not expect your trust to either. Start smaller than you think you need to. Instead of trusting with your whole life, trust with one small thing today. A small decision, a small release, one tiny act of letting go that does not carry the full weight of your biggest fear. Build trusts the way you build any other strength, slowly, with small repeats, letting it grow stronger over time instead of expecting it to show up fully formed in one morning. If even that feels too hard today, just notice the resistance without being hard on yourself for it. You do not have to fix everything in one sitting. You just have to keep showing up, keep listening, keep being willing to try again tomorrow. That willingness, even without full trust yet, is its own kind of faith. It counts. It matters. It is enough for today. Faith was never meant to be all or nothing. It is not a switch you flip from doubt to certainty in one moment. It is a direction, a leaning, a willingness to keep facing toward trust, even while parts of you still feel scared. You can be scared and faithful at the same time. You can doubt and still choose to lean toward trust anyway. That is not failure. That is just what it looks like to be human, walking the same road everyone before you has walked, learning the same lessons about letting go. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next small step toward trusting a little more than you did yesterday. And if you are someone who has been hurt badly, really badly, not just disappointed, but truly hurt by trusting the wrong thing or the wrong person. Give yourself extra patience here. Healing trust after real betrayal takes longer than healing trust after simple disappointment. There is no shame in that. There is no timeline you are failing to meet. You heal at the pace you heal, and that pace is allowed to be slow. A quiet moment before you go. Before we close, let us sit with all of this for one more moment. If you can, put your hand over your heart right now. Feel it beating, steady, patient. It has been beating since before you ever noticed, keeping its own rhythm without needing your permission or effort. It does not need you to force it to beat, it just does. That is a small picture of how the rest of your life can work, if you let it. There are rhythms already in motion that do not need your constant management. Your breath does not need reminding. Your body does not need instructions for every cell. There is something running underneath your conscious effort that has been carrying you this whole time, whether you noticed or not. Trust that the same kind of quiet order is also at work in the parts of your life that feel chaotic right now. The relationship that feels uncertain, the work that feels unfinished, the waiting that feels endless. It is not actually endless. It only feels that way because you are standing inside it, unable to see how far you have already come. Think back a year. Were you worried about something then that worked itself out in a way you could not have predicted? Did something that felt permanent turn out to be temporary? Did a fear that once filled your whole mind fade into something you barely think about now? That has probably happened more than once in your life, and it is happening again right now, with whatever is weighing on you, even if it does not feel that way yet. Give yourself permission this morning to believe the current weight is temporary too. Not because you are pretending things are fine when they are not, because temporary is simply the truth about almost everything you have ever worried about. Very little stays exactly as heavy as it feels in the worst moments. There is comfort in remembering this pattern, not because the present pain does not matter, but because you have proof, real, lived proof from your own life, that things shift, that seasons end, that what feels unbearable in one chapter often becomes a distant memory by the next one. You are not starting from zero faith here. You are starting from evidence. Hold on to that evidence this morning. Let it be the foundation under everything else we have talked about today. Take one more breath here. Let your shoulders drop if they have been up near your ears. Let your jaw loosen if you have been holding tension there. Let your hands open if they have been balled into fists. This is what release looks like in the body. It often starts here, in small physical shifts, before it ever reaches your mind. Practice the physical release this morning and let your mind follow. Stay in this stillness for as long as you need to this morning. There is no rush to move into your day. The most important thing right now is simply arriving fully in this moment before you ask anything else of yourself. When you are ready, not before, let this stillness travel with you into whatever comes next. Open hands, open heart, open to whatever today brings, trusting you have what you need to meet it. Closing blessing for your day. Before you go any further into today, take one more breath. You came into this morning carrying something heavy. Maybe you are leaving it a little lighter now. Maybe not all the way, but a little. That little bit of lightness is enough to start with. Maybe you came into this morning expecting answers, a clear plan, a neat solution to whatever has been weighing on you. This was not that kind of morning, and that is on purpose. Some mornings are not for solving. They are for softening, for loosening the grip just enough to breathe a little easier before the day asks anything of you. That softening is enough for today. The answers will come in their own time, the same way everything else does. So, if you are leaving this morning without a clear 5-step plan for fixing your life, that is all right. That was never the goal. The goal was simply this. One quiet morning where you practice trusting a little more than gripping. That practice, repeated enough mornings in a row, becomes its own kind of answer, even without a single neat solution ever showing up. Go now, gently, into whatever this day holds for you. You are ready, even if it does not feel that way yet. You do not need to have everything figured out before this day begins. You do not need to know how it will turn out. You do not need to force a single thing into place with your own strength. You just need to take the next step, and trust the steps after that will show up when it is time. Walk gently today. Speak kindly to yourself today. Let go of what you cannot control and hold tightly only to what truly matters. Your effort, your character, your faith. Whatever door needs to open will open. Whatever needs to grow in the dark will grow. Whatever is meant for you is already on its way, even if you cannot see it yet. You do not have to force this day. You only have to walk through it, one step at a time, with open hands and a trusting heart. Let today be lighter than yesterday. Let your grip be looser. Let your trust be deeper. And whatever you are walking into this morning, walk into it gently. Carry these 6 lessons with you today. When you feel the urge to force something, remember the seed that does not hurry. When you feel the panic to control an outcome, remember that surrender is not giving up. When a door closes, remember closed doors are still answers. When your peace feels shaken, remember real peace sits deeper than your circumstances. When a season feels dark, remember some things grow best exactly there. And when you are not sure how much to do versus release, remember to do what is yours and let go of the rest. These are not lessons you learn once and never need again. They are practices. You come back to them morning after morning, the same way you come back to brushing your teeth. Small, repeated things that shape your whole life over time. Some mornings you will remember all of this easily. Other mornings, the hard ones, you will forget within the first hour and need to come back to it again at lunch, or that evening, or the next morning. That is not failure. That is just what practicing something looks like. Give yourself the same grace you are learning to give your circumstances. You do not have to be perfect at letting go. You just have to keep choosing it again and again until it feels more natural than the gripping ever did. One day, maybe not today, but one day, you will notice trust has become your default instead of your effort. That release feels more natural than control. That you have built, one morning at a time, a different way of meeting your life. That day is being built right now, in this exact moment, with whatever you are choosing to release as you finish listening to this. Think about the kind of person you are slowly becoming through mornings like this one. Someone less reactive, someone steadier under pressure, someone who can sit with uncertainty without it taking over their whole day. That person is not a fantasy. That person is being built right now through ordinary practice. Morning after morning, choice after choice. You will not see the full shape of that person overnight. Growth like this is quiet and slow, the same way the seed growing underground is quiet and slow. But it is happening. Trust that it is happening, even on the mornings you cannot feel any difference yet. If this message brought you peace today, share it with someone who needs it too. Come back tomorrow morning and let us walk through another day together. One trusting step at a time. And remember this one last thing. Whatever you call the force holding this whole universe together, God, the divine, a higher order, simply love itself. It is not waiting for you to earn its presence. It is already here, already working, already weaving together the things you cannot see yet into something that will make sense in time. Your only job today is to walk forward without forcing the path. One step, then the next. Trust that the way keeps opening exactly when you need it to. This morning is now part of your story. A quiet moment where you chose to listen instead of rush, where you chose stillness before noise, where you chose to release instead of grip, even if only for these few minutes. Carry that choice with you. Let it be the first decision of many good ones today. And when evening comes and you look back on how the day went, you may find something was different, a little lighter, a little calmer, a little more trusting than the day before. That difference, however small, is the whole point. not a dramatic change overnight. A gentle shift, morning by morning, that eventually adds up to a completely different way of living. Go gently, go in peace, and remember this morning that you were never meant to walk this alone, and you never have, not for a single day of your life. Come back tomorrow morning, we will walk through it together again. Until then, hold these 6 lessons gently. Do not force, let it grow, trust the closed door, protect your peace. Embrace the dark season, and do your part while releasing the rest. Carry them quietly into your day, the same way you carry your own breath, present, steady, and entirely yours. And remember this one last thing. Whatever you call the force holding this whole universe together, God, the divine, a higher order, simply love itself, it is not waiting for you to earn its presence. It is already here, already working, already weaving together the things you cannot see yet into something that will make sense in time. Go gently, go in peace. Not even now, in this quiet moment, are you walking alone.